guys, this is Courtney from Willows Bloom, and today I'm going to talk to you about what is going on in the astrology for September. And I'm super excited to chat with you guys about this and go over it for all of the signs. It's probably going to take me a second. It's my first video doing this for all of the signs for the whole month. So I'm just trying to find my footing and see how I can do it in the most timely way possible. Okay, so before I get started, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm not going to really be talking about the moons this month because I will still come out with my new and full moon videos for all the signs. So I'm going to go over that in explicit detail. Explicit? Is that the right word? I feel like that's not the right word. I'm going to go over it in detail in the other videos, so let's not harp on it here. Okay. So let's go ahead and start off. All right, Pisces and Pisces Rising. This reading is for you. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm dividing this reading by planet. So I'm going in chronological order for each planet, which means that the dates might be like a little bit weird because one planet I'm going to go from start to finish, the other one from start to finish. I will try to make it as much of a story as possible. If you like or don't like this, let me know in the comment box below so I can adjust moving forward. So I appreciate your feedback. So for most of the month, for you guys, the sun is going to be in Virgo in your 7th house of relationships. And then on the 22nd, it's going to shift into Libra, which is in your 8th house. So the primary focus is going to be around relating to other people, working with other people, examining aspects of your relationships for a good part of this month. So the sun on the 6th is going to make a trine to Uranus in your 3rd house. So this to me is positive breakthroughs in terms of communicating in your relationships or understanding one another. So if you've had some difficulties or some challenges in relationships, especially on the 5th when Venus does make a square to Pluto, which I'll talk about later, but around that day, it's going to be a little tense. The next day, I feel like it's more of a breakthrough. On the 6th, you're going to have a realization, just the word breakthroughs keeps coming in, just some kind of breakthrough where either the communication enhances, you're able to see eye to eye, you have a different perspective shift, the other person does. There is some meeting of the minds here that feels very harmonious. On the 14th, the sun opposes Neptune, which is in your 1st house. So this might feel a little bit difficult in the sense that you want to focus on yourself. So having Neptune in the 1st house, I feel like is basically like, actually you want to focus on your relationships. You want to enhance those. But with the opposition with Neptune in the 1st, I feel like there can be some aspects of yourself that are kind of taking away the energy from your relationships. I'm not sure how exactly that looks, but it's almost like this feeling of, you're not sure about what you think about this person, or you just are uncertain about some area of your life and it's affecting your relationships, or you just feel like you're not as energized and it kind of comes across or spills into that area of your life. But then 2 days later, you're going to have that same sun trine Pluto in your 11th. This to me is going to improve this feeling. It's going to make it so that you're much more invested into your relationships with people. If it's not with this particular person, it could be just in your friendships in general. But it does give me this sense of overcoming whatever feeling of doubt was kind of there before. On the 29th, the sun is going to make a trine to Saturn. So by this time, your sun is going to be in the 8th house and Saturn is in your 12th house. So a trine between the 8th and 12th house, especially with the sun and Saturn, can bring up some more insecurities, especially around intimacy with other people. So you can have things that feel like are bringing up past issues within your desire to be vulnerable, within your attempt to be vulnerable with people. It does feel positive, like it feels like there's a positive resolution because it's a trine. So any effort that you're making to become vulnerable, to open up about issues from the past, I think is ultimately going to be very healing for you and very beneficial to whatever relationships you're dealing with at this time. Let's talk about Mercury, which is a planet of mindset and communication. So Mercury is going to be in Libra, which is in your 8th house, until November 5th. So Mercury being in the 8th house is going to have you focused on cultivating some intimacy in these relationships. It's also going to help you focus on what is blocking that from occurring. It could also be you kind of focusing a little bit more on diving into any insecurities that are holding you back, as well as any debt or taxes or money related issues that come up at this time. On the 4th of the month, Mercury is going to trine Saturn in the 12th. So this is a good opportunity to kind of examine maybe what debt you have, where money is coming and going. Like if you look at your bank account statements, you notice you haven't been watching Netflix, but you've been paying for it every month. Good time to cancel Netflix or pause that subscription. It's also a good time to have, again, these meaningful conversations about things from the past that you feel like have maybe affected your relationships currently. So allowing yourself to go there is going to have a positive reception, is going to actually have a stabilizing effect on your current relationships in your life and on your own mental health as well. On the 20th, Mercury is going to trine Jupiter, which is again in your 12th house. So any kind of conversations you've had prior to this with that trine with Saturn that I was just mentioning is going to pay off tenfold. It's going to give the opportunity of feeling like you're connecting with somebody else's soul. This could be a friendship. This could be a partner. It doesn't have to just be relationships, but there is some element of being able to feel like your relationships, your vulnerability is allowing that person to truly see you for who you are. And your soul or your spirit is having some form of escalation or elevation from that experience. It definitely feels like it's very healing, very healing. Yeah, indeed. On the 22nd, Mercury is going to square Pluto. So this can start to bring up some issues specifically related to your friendships, but it could be anything. It could even be around your vision for the future, your goals. But there's some element here with Mercury squaring Pluto where you start to question yourself, where you're not sure. Maybe one of your friends said something about your vision or your goals, and you're like, oh, that's triggering this old insecurity, this old wound. It's a feeling of being uncertain, I want to say. And then on the 27th, Mercury goes retrograde in Libra in the 8th house. So I feel like this is your opportunity to maybe revisit whatever was triggered at that time and resolve it. Resolve anything that feels like it's left open, like it's not helping you in some respects, like it's impacting your relationships negatively. It's time to go back to those old issues and put a bow on it. Financial issues as well. If you've been having money management issues, now is the time to go back and again wrap those things up and put a bow on it so you can move on in the next cycle and not have that energy carried over, negatively impacting you moving forward. Let's talk about Mars, which is a planet of action, of motivation, of drive, decision making. It's going to be in Virgo in your 7th house of relationships for the first half of the month, and then the second half is going to be in the 8th house. So for the first half, it's focusing on how to decision making in terms of relationships, what you want to pursue, what you want to take action on. You're going to be much more motivated about like reaching out to people, connecting with people, improving relationships. But Mars on the 7th house could also make you like a little bit touchy. It can make, if somebody says the wrong thing or does the wrong thing, it can make you a little bit less patient with them, a little bit more frustrated with them. And then when it moves into your 8th house on the 14th, you're going to have this energy and drive to start to work on whatever is blocking you from feeling vulnerable or whatever debts or negativity is going on in your life in general. It's going to help you direct your focus towards that. So on the 1st, Mars is going to oppose Neptune in your 1st house. So this is a time when you feel like you're not having total clarity about some aspect of a relationship. You might feel like you're having some doubts about yourself or how you're feeling or some element of what somebody is saying to you. There's some lack of clarity or lack of confidence that can come in with this. Maybe you don't know where you stand with somebody. You were feeling good, but now you're not sure. And I feel like that is going to go away on the 6th when Mars makes a trine to Pluto in the 11th. You're going to talk to somebody. You're going to have your friends kind of give you a different perspective, or you're going to reignite that relationship in a more social setting. Something is going to occur where that doubt is alleviated and there is a truth that reemerges from whatever just happened. On the 25th, when Mars is in your 8th house, it will trine Saturn in your 12th house. So this is a really good time, again, to start releasing any of those negative blocks from the past. I think that this is a common thing for you. The vulnerability aspect is so key, and those blockages from letting people in are going to become really obvious on the 25th and really surmountable. It's going to be possible to overcome it. You're going to have the drive, you're going to have the discipline to actually go into those issues and resolve them permanently, or at least to an extent permanently. Let's talk more about relationships because we're talking about Venus. So Venus is in Libra, it's strong in Libra, which is in your 8th house, and then it will shift into the 9th house on the 10th of the month. So I think that this is going to help you do some of that dirty work or some of that heavy lifting to help ease whatever difficulties can come up around those blockages from being vulnerable. So on the 5th, Venus is going to make a square to Pluto in your 11th house. So this time you might encounter some more shadow sides of yourself or your friends or your partner or whoever. There's some shadow sides that are likely to come up in relationships at this time. More people being jealous, more people being controlling or manipulative or not understanding or fearful, insecure. Those things can be exacerbated. But then just a day later, Jupiter is going to make a trine to Venus, and it's going to help you release whatever came up in a positive way and help you learn and grow from that experience and have wisdom where you can carry that with you moving forward. On the 17th, when Venus is now in your 9th house, it's going to make a square to Saturn in your 12th house. So I feel like you guys are going to be feeling more optimistic when Venus moves into the 9th, but when it squares Saturn, some of those old issues come up and the optimism can be stifled. You can start to feel like this scarcity mindset, either around the direction of where your life is going, around your relationships, around money. There's a lot of possibilities where this can emerge, where the feeling of crippling self-doubt can come back. And then this is going to be resolved on the 23rd when you have Venus opposing Uranus in the 3rd house. You're going to receive some communication, some insight, some idea, some shift in mindset. Something is going to either come in from externally or from within you that is going to shift things. You're going to realize that this crippling self-doubt, this crippling situation from the past, you're going to realize something or hear something or know something that is going to make that stop, that is going to liberate you from this feeling of anxiety, this feeling of being uncertain. And so it's going to be a little bit of volatile at that time, especially in relationships, and for you, especially in your mindset associated with anything in your life, but especially relationships. But it's going to give you freedom, and it's going to give you the change that you and your soul need in order to survive whatever you're going through. Or thrive, I should say. On the 29th, Venus is making a trine to Jupiter, or trine to Neptune in your 1st house and a square to Jupiter in your 12th. I feel like this is the definition of being healed, of ending some kind of cycle of not knowing what you want. And I think that's maybe what the 4 of Cups is. You're not sure, maybe it's like you're not sure how you feel about someone or some opportunity that's related to working with someone. There's some element of relationships that's very much the focus. But this 4 of Cups is like, I'm not sure if I want that. I'm not sure if I want to take action on what the universe is giving me. There's some feeling of uncertainty. But what I get is that you're going to start off that way and you're going to end feeling healed. I think actually what is getting in the way from you accepting this from the universe is maybe it's not right for you. I can't say for sure because it's going to be different for everyone. But I think actually for a lot of you, it's going to be self-imposed blocks. It's going to be you holding yourself back from pursuing someone because of things from the past, of insecurities, of not wanting to let someone in, fear around being vulnerable. And I think you're not going to quite realize that right away, but then you're going to have these moments of breakthrough. For example, when the Sun trines Uranus on the 6th, or when Venus opposes Uranus on the 23rd, you're going to have these little breakthroughs where you're going to realize what was holding you back or what wasn't right if something wasn't right. So it's going to help you gain a lot more clarity. And I think that's why I pulled the King of Swords, which is about having a mastery over your mind, understanding why you act the way that you do, having a full conceptual understanding of the deeper layers of yourself and your behavior and your feelings and your emotions, and analyzing all of it from this point of clarity. So I feel like that's what you're going to be gaining, and that's going to be extremely healing for you. And I pulled this energy card, and I'm getting the sense that this is more healing than energy. I don't feel like this is a very Mars driven month for you necessarily. It feels more like a month to let things go that can be stopping you from enjoying true partnership, or that can be stopping you from enjoying good friendships, or that can be contributing to you staying in old cycles of relationships with people that aren't actually benefiting you. So there's some element here of you needing to shift or heal certain aspects of yourself to improve your relationships, whether that's leaving somebody or accepting someone, letting them in. It's going to be different for everybody. But let me read what this card says for energy. It says, the orange. Adventure and rapid progress are indicated, and it's specifically anchored to your true purpose and the direction of your current taking. Oranges indicate that anything is possible, although you need to get that willpower working hard. There will be challenges, but you can overcome them, and someone around you may need extra support at this time. Be wary of apathy, of losing interest too soon before giving something a chance, and of negativity. That to me is about your relationships, because there's such a focus on that. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but most of this is about relationships. So I feel like what this is saying is that anything is possible, but you have the willpower to direct where this is going. If you decide to let your insecurities block you, then or past events or not wanting to get vulnerable block you, then it won't manifest. It won't happen. If you want it to happen, it will. It's really up to you and your personal behavior. It says there's going to be challenges and that someone needs extra support. I feel like the challenge is you being able to go deep and uncover some of these things that can be keeping you from being vulnerable. And someone needing support is probably this other person who needs to know that, like, whatever you're going through maybe isn't personal. It's actually more about you than it is about them. And again, this can be any relationship in your life where you're trying to create more of a bond or more intimacy. It's not just partners, it's anyone, but partners are especially highlighted. And if you're developing apathy or losing interest too soon, you have to ask where that's coming from. Is this a defense or coping mechanism, or is that truly how you feel? And I think you will get to truly understand that by the end of this month, if that is how you feel, or if it's a defense mechanism, like I was saying. Because I get the feeling that a lot of you are actually given a really beautiful opportunity by the universe and rejecting it. And I think you'll get full awareness around why you're rejecting it and overcome some of that. I think some of you, though, I mean, of course, there's going to be some of you who this is not actually right for, and that's why you're rejecting it. But regardless, there is healing that needs to be done, and that will be achieved, especially through your relationships at this time for you, Pisces. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. If this resonates, please like and comment down below, and I hope you have such a beautiful day. Bye.